The Galactic Peace Academy on Station 9B was a shining place in the middle of space. It welcomed students from all over the galaxy. Aliens of different shapes, colors, and languages came here to learn about science, peace, and each other. Something very rare happened. A human student had been accepted. His name was Leo Harris. He was from Earth. He wasn't famous, rich, or powerful. Just smart, curious, and excited to meet new kinds of people. When he arrived at the station, he carried only one bag and a wide smile at the same time. A very different student arrived, Princess Javari of the Nyrene Empire. She came with guards, servants, and shining golden robes. Her people were tall, graceful, and serious. Javari had never shared anything in her life, not a meal, not even a conversation without permission. But today, everything was about to change when Leo reached his assigned room 114B. He opened the door and stopped. Someone was already inside. She had soft blue skin, silver eyes, and long glowing hair that floated like it was underwater. She sat on the bed, arms crossed, looking angry. "You are not Renee," she said in a flat voice. Leo blinked. "No, I'm Leo. Human. This is my room." She frowned. "Impossible. This is my room." For a moment, they both stared at each other. Then, the room lights blinked, and a calm, robotic voice spoke from the wall. "Attention, due to housing errors. In the multi-species system, students Yavari of Nay and Leo of Earth are now assigned as roommates. Changes are not allowed at this time, thank you." Javari stood up. "Unacceptable. I am royalty." Leo scratched his head. "Well, just Leo, but I don't mind if you take the big side. I can keep to my corner." She looked shocked. "You offer space so easily?" Leo shrugged. "I mean, yeah, both have to be here, right?" Javari didn't understand him. Back home, people begged for a single moment in her presence. But this human, he smiled, made jokes, and offered peace without being asked. The first few days were strange. Javari kept everything perfect. Her bed was always made, her things in neat rows. She used strange tools to clean the air and made quiet humming noises while meditating. Leo was the opposite. He wore mismatched socks, left crumbs from protein bars, and played soft music while doing homework. They didn't talk much at first. Leo respected her space. Javari ignored him. But one night, Yavari's translator device beeped loudly. She sat up quickly, annoyed, and looked around for it. Leo, half asleep, reached under her bed and found it. "Here," he said, handing it over. She took it, surprised. "Why do you help?" Leo smiled. "It's just a thing people do on Earth. We help when we can." That night, Javari couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Leo said. Later that week, Leo tried to heat up food in the wall unit, but he accidentally made it explode into a pile of green mush. "Why?" Avar came out of her side of the room, nose wrinkled. "You cooked algae?" "Backwards," Leo laughed. "Yeah, I kind of figured. Your food smells better." "What is it?" She paused. Then, slowly, she offered him a cup of Liran Brotha, Nareen comfort drink. He took a sip. "Wow, this is like tea and soup had a baby." Javari blinked. "That is oddly accurate." They both laughed. For the first time, the room didn't feel divided. Over the next few days, they started sharing little things. Leo explained what socks were. Javari showed him how to meditate floating in zero-gravity. He taught her how to play earth music using a small tablet. She let him try on a Rian-learning visor, which showed him moving colors and thoughts. They still didn't understand each other completely, but they were trying. One evening, Leo came back from class and found his half of the room cleaned. His clothes were folded. His desk was spotless. He looked at Javari, who was sipping tea calmly. "You cleaned my side," she nodded. "It was messy. I was bored, and I used gloves." Leo chuckled. "Thanks, I'll try to do the same sometime." Javari didn't answer, but her silver eyes sparkled just a little. But things weren't perfect. One day, Leo accidentally washed her ceremonial robe with his gym clothes. The royal fabric turned light pink. Yavar. I was silent for 10 seconds. Then she said softly, "Pink is not a royal color." Leo panicked. "I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a new one, or dye it back." Or she raised a hand. "It is done. I accept your apology." He blinked. "That's it? You're not mad?" Javari gave a small sigh. "I was taught to show anger, but ... I do not wish to." Leo smiled. "Well, I'll be extra careful next time." For the first time, Javari realized Leo didn't walk on eggshells around her. He just treated her like a person, and deep down, she liked that. One night, Javari sat at her side of the room, watching Leo try to balance a pencil on his nose. He looked silly. He fell backward and laughed. She covered her mouth, but a laugh escaped her too. He looked up. "Did I just make a Noreen royal laugh?" She nodded. "Do not get used to it." But inside, she wasn't upset at all. That night, as they turned off the lights, both lay in silence for a moment. Then Javari whispered, "Perhaps sharing is not so bad." Leo smiled in the dark. "Told you. Right. Roommates aren't the worst." The next few weeks at the Galactic Peace Academy passed slowly, but something had changed in room 114B. It wasn't just a dorm room anymore. It was now a small place where two very different worlds had started to meet. Leo, the easygoing human, still played his soft music at night, still wore mismatched socks, and still liked eating crunchy snacks while studying. But now he checked with Javari first. He would say, "Hey, is it okay if I play a little earth jazz? Or want to try some cheese crackers?" Javari, the serious and graceful alien princess, still kept her corner clean and her bed perfectly made. She still did silent floating, meditation every morning. But now she left a spot for Leo to join if he wanted to. And sometimes he did. One morning, Leo tried the floating meditation practice. He clipped on the magnetic boots, pressed the gravity release button, and suddenly floated a few feet above the ground. Arms spread out. "Okay," he said, spinning slowly. "This is weird." "Breathe slowly," Javari said, eyes closed. "Feel your mind float." Leo's mind felt more like it was falling than floating, but he tried. He closed his eyes, breathed in deeply, and bumped into the ceiling. "Oh, hoo," he said, laughing. Javari opened one eye. "You must learn balance." "I'm trying. Humans don't do this stuff." "Hey." She gave a small smile. "Then it is good that you are learning." That small moment of laughter and patience was something new for both of them. In the evenings, Leo would often sit on his bed working on homework. Javari, curious about human subjects, sometimes peeked at his screen. "What is poetry?" she asked one evening. Leo looked up. "It's a way of writing with feelings, like words that dance." "Words do not dance," she said, confused. He laughed. "Maybe not your words, but Earth words can. Want to hear one?" She nodded just a little. He read a short poem from an old Earth writer about stars and love and distance. Javari didn't say anything for a long time. Then she whispered, "Your people use strange ways to say beautiful things." "Thanks," Leo said, a bit shy. "Want to write one together?" She paused, then said, "Only if I choose the first line." Their room became something new. The walls now held two flags, the soft green spiral of Noreen and the bright blue Earth symbol. A small table between their beds held both Lyran tea and Earth instant coffee. Javari taught Leo how to write his name in Noreen symbols. He drew her a cartoon of herself in a space helmet eating pizza. She didn't understand it, but she hung it beside her mirror anyway. One night, the room shook slightly, just a minor tremor from the docking bay. Javari jumped. She had never felt such things before. Leo, already half asleep, sat up and said, "It's okay. Just a ship landing. Nothing bad." She nodded, breathing slowly. "We do not have such noise on Iran." He offered her a pillow. "Noise is just sound wearing boots." She blinked. "That is, it's not how sound works." He laughed. She smiled. Their classmates started to notice. People from other species passed their room and peeked in. Some were surprised. Some looked confused. Some looked impressed. How does a royal live with a human? One student asked in the cafeteria. Javari answered calmly, "He respects my space. I respect his. It is not so difficult." Leo grinned beside her. "Also, I clean better now. Sort of." Everyone laughed, even the quiet insectoid student from Sector D. After that, more students began trying cross-species partnerships. A blue-feathered avian sat beside a rocky-skinned miner in class. A jellyfish-like student taught cooking to a plant being. The academy began to feel more connected, and it had started with one small room, one weekend. Javari and Leo worked together on a small plant project for their biology class. They had to grow a flower from both their worlds, mixed together using science and soil from the station. "This won't work," Javari said, reading the lab rules. "Your plant needs sunlight, mine needs shadow. We'll figure it out," Leo replied. "Let's build a divider." He used half-light tech, special mineral water, and patience. After 7 days, a small bud appeared. It had Earth's red petals and Rhine's silver leaves. It looked strange, but also beautiful. Leo touched the pot carefully. "We made something that never existed before." Javari nodded. "Like this friendship." But not everyone approved. One day, Javari received a message from her royal advisor. "Princess, your behavior is being watched. We hear reports that you live closely with a human male. This may reflect poorly on your position. Consider requesting a new suite, or we will be forced to act." She read the message twice and looked around the room. Leo was not there yet. She stood silently, unsure. Her old life full of rules and pride called her back, but her heart was somewhere else now. When Leo returned, she didn't tell him about the message. Instead, she said softly, "Do you like sharing this room?" He blinked. "Yeah, it's actually ... kind of nice." "Why?" "No reason," she said. But inside, she felt something new, something strong. She didn't want to leave. Not yet. Maybe not. The Galactic Peace Academy was buzzing with excitement. Colorful posters floated in the air. Small music drones played cheerful tunes. And students from every part of the galaxy talked about one thing: the Interspecies Culture Fair. Every year, the Academy held this special event to celebrate the different cultures of its students. This time, there was a new rule. Each team must be made of students from different species. The goal was to build a shared project, a song, a dish, a story, a performance, something that showed understanding and unity. Leo was excited the moment he heard about it. "This is going to be awesome," he told Javari as they ate dinner in the shared room. Why, a VARI, on the other hand, looked uncertain. "I am not used to public performances," she said calmly. "Royal members do not display emotion or personal hobbies in public." Leo blinked. "Wait, so ... you've never done a group project? Or a stage performance?" She shook her head. "Irene, do not perform for fun. We observe, we lead. But we do not dance, sing, or cook in front of crowds." Leo nodded slowly. "On Earth, we kind of do all of that, especially at school." Events. Javari sipped her tea in silence. After a long pause, she said, "What did you have in mind?" Leo smiled wide. "Let's create a show together. A mix of our two cultures." And the next day, they sat in their room, brainstorming. Leo suggested a music performance. "I could play guitar and you could, show those floating light dances you do in meditation." Javari thought for a moment. "I can create holographic memories from Noreen. Our people store emotions as visual forms. Perfect." Leo said, "So you create the visuals, and I provide the sound." A full sensory experience. She still wasn't fully sure. "If we fail, I will bring dishonor." Leo raised an eyebrow. "Or we'll show everyone something totally new. Even if it's a little weird, it'll be ours." That made Javari pause. Then just a small smile. "Very well. Let us begin." For the next week, their room turned into a creative studio. Javari wore a small crown-like device on her head to access her memory. Lights. Each image was a scene from her world: floating crystal gardens, glowing sea waves, golden temples in the sky. Leo watched in awe. "This is amazing," he whispered. "It's like dreaming while awake." Meanwhile, Leo practiced soft guitar, melodies he had learned on Earth. The music was peaceful and slow, almost like waves on a shore. Javari listened with interest. "Your music, it feels alive." "Yours too," he replied, just in a different way. They spent hours syncing the visuals to the music. When one of Leo's notes went high, Yavri's lights danced like fireflies. When the tune slowed down, her memories turned soft and blue. They didn't need words most of the time, simply worked, side by side, sharing their worlds through art. Finally, the culture fair arrived. The Academy's central hall was filled with glowing decorations. Floating platforms showed student displays, food from a dozen planets, stories written in starlight, dances from alien moons. Leo and Javari stood near the back waiting for their turn. Javari looked calm, but inside, her heart beat faster than usual. Leo noticed. Nervous? "I do not usually share private things," she admitted. Leo placed a hand over his heart. "Me neither. But if we do it together, I think we'll be okay." In that moment, she felt something she couldn't name, but it was warm. Their names were called. They stepped onto the stage. The lights dimmed. Leo began to play. Soft earth music filled the hall. Then behind them, Yavri's memories appeared beautiful. Glowing shapes and colors that moved like living dreams. Gasps filled the room. The red and gold temples of Nareen danced above their heads. Leo's chords echoed softly.
Oh.
Then came Earth's music, flowing under the stars of another world. Together, he told a silent story of two people from faraway lands who found friendship in a shared space. When it ended, the hall was silent. For a moment, then a wave of applause. Students from every part of the galaxy clapped, cheered, even stood up. Yavari looked out at the crowd. For the first time, she did not feel strange. She felt seen. After the performance, students came up. "To them, that was beautiful," said a plant-based student from Zone G. "You made me cry," said a small floating jelly creature. "Can you teach me your light dance?" asked someone from the asteroid colonies. Leo smiled. "Told you we'd be okay." Javari nodded, quietly proud. It was enjoyable. Later that night, back in their room, Leo handed her a small snack. "To celebrate," he said. "Earth tradition." Yavari took it. "It is very sweet. It's called chocolate." She looked at him. "Leo." "Yeah, thank you for helping me share something real." Leo gave a small bow. "Thank you for trusting me." Sat together in peaceful silence. Outside their window, the stars blinked softly. Inside the room, something stronger than culture or science had formed. Friend. After the culture fair, everything changed. Leo and Yavri's performance became the most talked about event at the Galactic Peace Academy. Their show had touched hearts and crossed boundaries. Students shared the memory video across the academy's network. Even teachers talked about how a human and an Iron had worked together so peacefully. But not everyone was pleased. One afternoon, Javari received a message marked "Private Royal Eyes Only." She opened it while Leo was at class. The screen glowed with the seal of the Nyrene Royal Council. The message read, "Princess Javari, we are concerned by reports of your current living conditions and public behavior. As a royal figure, you are expected to follow tradition and set examples. Sharing a room with a human male and performing emotional displays in public is not aligned with royal values. You are advised to request a private suite immediately. Failure to do so may result in further action." Javari stared at the message. Her hands were still, her expression calm. But inside, she felt something deep, like a crack in a crystal. She had always followed orders, lived by her people's expectations. But this room, this time with Leo, it had changed her. She was learning, growing, even smiling more. Was that something to be ashamed of? Later that evening, Leo returned to their room with a wide smile. You won't believe this, he said. Professor Rana invited us to speak to the new students next week. They want us to talk about interspecies friendship. He looked excited, proud. Then he noticed Yavri's face. She wasn't smiling. Everything okay? He asked gently. She nodded slowly. Yes. Just tired. He didn't push. He trusted her. But that night, Javari sat quietly by the window, staring at the stars. She thought about her life on Rian, the long hauls, the quiet rules, the way she never felt quite herself. She thought about Leo, his easy laughter, his music, his open heart. She had to make a choice. The next few days, whispers began to spread. Some students said the princess would soon move out. Others said her people were angry. Some even claimed Leo had done something wrong. Leo didn't believe the rumors. But still, a part of him began to worry. Every time Yavari looked away too quickly or stayed silent too long, he wondered if something was wrong. One evening, as they both worked at their shared table, Leo finally asked, Yavari, you planning to leave? She paused, then placed her pen down. I received a message, she said softly, from my council. They do not approve of this arrangement. Leo looked down. I see. I'm supposed to move into a private suite, she added. Alone, a long silence fell between them. Do you want to? Leo asked, his voice calm. She looked at him. No, she said. But I don't know if that matters. It does, Leo replied. It matters to me. That night, Javari made her decision. She sent a reply to the Nareen Council. I respect the customs of my people, but I am here to learn peace, not fear. I choose to remain in my shared space. My growth as a leader depends on understanding others, not hiding from them. I hope you understand. She took a deep breath before sending it. It was the first time. In her life, she had disobeyed a direct order, and yet she felt ... free. The next day, the Academy's student network posted an announcement. Princess Yavari has requested to speak at the Open Student Forum tomorrow evening. It was unusual for a royal to speak in public like this. The hall quickly filled with students from all species. Even some teachers and leaders attended. Leo sat near the back. Watching with pride and a little worry, Javari stood on the small stage. She wore her royal robe, but she had added a small pin shaped like Earth's symbol on the collar. She looked at the crowd calmly and began, I am Princess Javari of the Neen Empire. I came to this academy to study peace and leadership, but what I have learned here is more than just rules and facts. I have learned that true understanding begins with sharing space, ideas, and emotions. She paused, letting her words settle. Some have asked why I live with a human. The answer is simple, because I choose to, because I have learned more from my human roommate than I ever did in royal schools. Some people gasped, others nodded. He did not treat me as a symbol. He treated me as a person. And through him, I remembered how to laugh, how to question, and how to grow. She looked directly at Leo, and for that I thank him. Leo's chest felt warm. He didn't move, but his heart was louder than any sound in the hall. When the forum ended, students stood up and clapped not because she was a princess, but because she had spoken with honesty. Afterward, many came to her and said, Thank you for speaking up. You helped me feel less alone. I want to share my room too. Something had changed at the academy. Not in rules or systems, but in hearts. And it had started with one small friendship. Later, back in room 114B, Leo and Javari sat on the floor, drinking tea and cocoa. Do you think your council will be mad? Leo asked. They already are, Javari said, smiling slightly. But I am not afraid. Leo nodded. Well, I'm proud of you. She looked at him. I'm proud of us. The room was quiet for a moment. Peaceful. Then Leo said, You're definitely not moving out now, right? Javari raised one eyebrow. Not unless you start playing drums. He laughed. Deal. Inside their window, the stars kept shining. Inside, their bond grew stronger. Two worlds sharing one room, one journey, one friend. After the culture fair, everything changed. Leo and Yavri's performance became the most talked-about event at the Galactic Peace Academy. Their show had touched hearts and crossed boundaries. Students shared the memory video across the Academy's network. Even teachers talked about how a human and a Nareen had worked together so peacefully. But not everyone was pleased. One afternoon, Javari received a message marked Private Royal Eyes Only. She opened it while Leo was at class. The screen glowed with the seal of the Nareen Royal Council. The message read, Princess Javari, we are concerned by reports of your current living conditions and public behavior. As a royal figure, you are expected to follow tradition and set examples. Sharing a room with a human male and performing emotional displays in public is not aligned with royal values. You are advised to request a private suite immediately. Failure to do so may result in further action. Javari stared at the message. Her hands were still, her expression calm. But inside she felt something deep like a crack in a crystal. She had always followed orders, lived by her people's expectations. But this room, this time with Leo, it had changed her. She was learning, growing, even smiling more. Was that something to be ashamed of? Later that evening, Leo returned to their room with a wide smile. You won't believe this, he said. Professor Rana invited us to speak to the new students next week. They want us to talk about interspecies friendship. He looked excited, proud. Then he noticed Yavri's face. She wasn't smiling. Everything okay? He asked gently. She nodded slowly. Yes, ... just tired. He didn't push. He trusted her. But that night, Javari sat quietly by the window, staring at the stars. Thought about her life on Narain, the long hauls, the quiet rules, the way she never felt quite herself. She thought about Leo, his easy laughter, his music, his open heart. She had to make a choice. The next few days, whispers began to spread. Some students said the princess would soon move out. Others said her people were angry. Some even claimed Leo had done something wrong. Leo didn't believe the rumors, but still, a part of him began to worry. Every time Javari looked away too quickly or stayed silent too long, he wondered if something was wrong. One evening, as they both worked at their shared table, Leo finally asked Javari, Are you planning to leave? She paused, then placed her pen down. I received a message, she said softly. From my council, they do not approve of this arrangement. Leo looked down. I see. I am supposed to move into a private suite, she added. Alone. A long silence fell between them. Do you want to? Leo asked, his voice calm. She looked at him. No, she said. But I don't know if that matters. It does, Leo replied. Matters to me. At night, Javari made her decision. She sent a reply to the Inren Council. I respect the customs of my people, but I am here to learn peace, not fear. I choose to remain in my shared space. My growth as a leader depends on understanding others, not hiding from them. I hope you understand. She took a deep breath before sending it. It was the first time. In her life she had disobeyed a direct order, and yet she felt ... free the next day. The Academy's student network posted an announcement. Princess Javari has requested to speak at the Open Student Forum tomorrow evening. It was unusual for a royal to speak in public like this. The hall quickly filled with students from all species. Even some teachers and leaders attended. Leo sat near the back. Watching with pride and a little worry, Javari stood on the small stage. She wore her royal robe, but she had added a small pin shaped like Earth's symbol on the collar. She looked at the crowd calmly and began. I am Princess Javari of the Nareen Empire. I came to this academy to study peace and leadership. But what I have learned here is more than just rules and facts. I have learned that true understanding begins with sharing space, ideas, and emotions. She paused, letting her words settle. Some have asked why I live with a human. The answer is simple. Because I choose to. Because I have learned more from my human roommate than I ever did in royal schools. Some people gasped, others nodded. He did not treat me as a symbol. He treated me as a person. And through him, I remembered how to laugh, how to question, and how to grow. She looked directly at Leo, and for that I thank him.
Leo's chest felt warm.
He didn't move, but his heart was louder than any sound in the hall. When the forum ended, students stood up and clapped, not because she was a princess, but because she had spoken with honesty. Afterward, many came to her and said, "Thank you for speaking up. You helped me feel less alone. I want to share my room too." Something had changed at the academy, not in rules or systems, but in hearts, and it had started with one small friendship. Later, back in room 114B, Leo and Yavari sat on the floor, drinking tea and cocoa. "Do you think your council will be mad?" Leo asked. "They already are," Javari said, smiling slightly. "But I am not afraid." Leo nodded. "Well, I'm proud of you." She looked at him. "I'm proud of us." The days after the student forum were full of change. Princess Yavri's speech had spread across the Galactic Peace Academy faster than anyone expected. Students talked about it in classrooms, on walkways, and even in the cafeteria. Her message of friendship and shared space touched many hearts. For the first time in Academy history, more than 20 students from different species requested mixed room arrangements. Some even said, "If a Narine princess can do it, why not me?" But while many students supported her, the news also reached powerful places, especially back on Orion Prime. The royal advisors were not pleased. Javari received another message from the Orion High Council. This time it was colder than before. "Princess Javari, you have ignored our request. Your words at the forum were not approved by the council. As a royal figure, your actions affect the honor of your people. We will now send an official representative to review your status. Be prepared to explain yourself." Javari read the message without emotion, but she knew this was serious. Someone from her homeworld was coming to judge her. She looked around. The room, Leo's side, was filled with little earth decorations, a paper globe, his favorite socks on the floor, and a drawing of a rocket ship. Her side was still neat, with a glowing crystal lamp and a floating shelf of Nyrene books. But now, in the center of the room, sat a small table with teacups from Nyrene and a chipped mug that said "Earth runs on coffee." It was no longer her room. It was their room. She wasn't going to give that up easily the next day. The royal ship Starlight Honor docked at the academy. From it stepped Ambassador Velen, one of the oldest and most respected figures in the Arene Empire. He wore silver robes and walked with silent, careful steps. His face showed no emotion. Javari met him in the academy's diplomatic room. Leo was not allowed inside. The room was silent. The air felt cold. Ambassador Velen spoke first. "Princess Javari, do you understand why I am here?" "I do," she answered, calm and steady. "You have broken tradition," he said. "You have lived in an unapproved shared space. You have spoken openly without council guidance. These are not small matters." "I understand," she said again. And yet he continued, "You stand by your actions." Jabari looked him in the eye. "Yes, I do." Ambassador Velen did not raise his voice. He simply asked, "Why?" Javari thought for a moment before answering. "I came to this academy to learn peace," she began. "But peace is not something you only study in books. It lives in how you treat others, how you listen, how you live." She took a breath. "My human roommate, Leo Harris, did not treat me as a title. He treated me as a person. Because of that, I learned to see myself not just as a princess, but as a student, a friend, and someone still growing." Ambassador Velen was silent. "I have not broken the values of Nyrene," Javari continued. "I have followed them more closely than ever before. I seek knowledge. I build trust. And I choose kindness." Then she bowed deeply and respectfully. "Do not ask for permission," she said softly. "I ask for understanding." Ambassador Velen stayed silent for a long time. Then finally he spoke. "I have seen many leaders," he said, "but few who speak with such quiet strength." He walked toward the window and looked out at the stars. "Perhaps, it is not tradition that you broke, Perhaps it is tradition that needs to grow. Javari blinked, surprised. Velen turned back to her. You may remain in your current room. The council will not interfere, but be warned, change brings eyes. Some will support you. Others will not. I understand, Javari said. He nodded. Then continue your learning, princess. Make us proud in your own way. That evening, Javari returned to room 114 Byte. Leo was waiting, pretending to read, but clearly nervous. Well, he asked, did they order you home? Or did they send a royal robot to carry you away? Javari smiled. No robots, just permission. Leo blinked. Wait, seriously, they said I may stay, she confirmed. Leo jumped up. Yes, that's great. You stood up to them. Javari sat on her bed. I simply told the truth. Well, your truth is pretty awesome, he said. Then he picked up the guitar and played a few soft notes. Javari closed her eyes and listened. The next few days brought new experiences. Javari was invited to join. The student harmed the room was quiet for a moment. Peaceful. Then Leo said, You're definitely not moving out now, right? Javari raised one eyebrow. Not unless you start playing drums. He laughed. Deal. Outside their window, the stars kept shining. Inside, their bond grew stronger. Two worlds sharing, one room, one journey, one friendship. Months passed at the Galactic Peace Academy. The stars outside still moved slowly through space, and ships came and went from the docking bays. But inside room 114B, everything felt different. What had started as a mistaken shared room between a human and a royal alien had become something more. It had become home. Javari's side of the room still had her floating meditation crystals and books from the RN Empire. But now, a few small decorations from Earth sat on her shelf like the handmade moon globe Leo had given her. Leo's side still looked a little messy, with his colorful socks and funny posters. But now his desk held a Nyrene tea set and a small hologram of their culture, fair performance. The middle of the room, once a space they had tried to avoid, was now full of life. It had a shared table with both of their favorite drinks. Two chairs, one designed for a human, the other curved for a Nyrene, sat side by side. It was clear this was no longer two people living apart. This was two people living together, not just in space, but in friendship. One quiet evening, soft music played from Leo's tablet. Javari sat writing a letter to her parents. She wrote in clear, graceful script, I know I have changed. I smile more now, speak more freely. I even drink earth coffee when I'm tired. But do not worry, still honor nay. I have simply discovered that being a leader means listening, even to someone from a faraway world. She paused, then added, If you ever meet Leo, I hope, you will see what I see. A kind heart, a patient teacher, and the best roommate in the galaxy. She smiled gently as she sealed the message. That same week, the Academy prepared for a new event, the Unity Ceremony. It was a celebration for students who had built meaningful connections across different cultures. Each pair, or group, would receive a special badge from the Galactic Council, a sign of trust, its growth and unity. Leo and Javari were asked to open the ceremony. Leo was nervous. I've never spoken in front of so many people, he said, pacing the room. You already have, Javari said calmly. When? Every time you speak with kindness, she replied. That is what people remember. Leo stopped pacing. Wow, that was ... really good. Did you practice that line? She gave him a rare, playful smirk. No, but I knew you'd ask. They both laughed. At the ceremony, the hall was full. Representatives from dozens of planets were present. Flags and lights filled the room. The energy was peaceful but exciting. When Leo and Javari stepped onto the stage, there was a moment of silence, then applause. Not because of their titles or species, but because of what they had shown the Academy. Leo took a breath and stepped forward. Hi, he began. My name is Leo Harris. I'm from Earth. I used to think aliens were scary or strange. But then I met Javari. He looked at her and smiled. She taught me that friendship doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Then Javari spoke. I am Princess Javari of the Nareen Empire. I once believed that sharing space was weakness, but now I know it is strength. She turned to Leo. He helped me understand that true peace begins not in classrooms or speeches, but in rooms, in hearts, in the quiet moments between different lives. The crowd stood and applauded. Some even cheered, not for a performance this time, but for the message. After the ceremony, more students approached them. I want a roommate from another species too. Can you help us start a new student group for unity? Will you visit our culture club next week? Leo and Yavari answered them all kindly. They knew now that their story was just the beginning for many others. Later that night, back in room 114B, the two sat quietly, sipping warm drinks. Leo looked at the small badge on the table, shiny, silver, shaped like two hands reaching toward each other. Never thought I'd get one of those, he said. Javari nodded. It suits you. He looked at her. Do you think we'll stay in touch after the academy ends? She looked thoughtful. Do you plan to forget me? Never, he said without hesitation. Then we will remain connected, she replied. They clinked their mugs together. The academy year slowly came to an end. Final exams, goodbye parties, and last meetings filled the days. Students packed their things, took photos, and promised to visit each other. But room 114B remained full until the very last moment. Leo stood by the door, bag in hand. Hard to believe it's over. Javari stood beside him. It is not over. It is only changing. Oh. You gonna miss me? He asked, half joking. I already do, she said, not joking at all. He smiled. So, no new roommate after me? No, she said softly. I want it to stay this way. They hugged. It was a simple, quiet hug, but it said everything. As Leo walked down the hallway toward the Earth transport ship, he looked back one last time. Avar stood in the doorway, watching. She gave a small wave. He waved back. Then the door to room 114B closed. But inside, memories remained. The smell of tea and coffee, the sound of guitar strings and glowing light, the soft laughter of two friends from different worlds who chose to share something rare and real. A room, a bond, a few